Hello everyone and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today we are talking about A Complete Unknown. This film stars Timothee Chalamet as Bob Dylan and is directed by James Mangold, one of the better filmmakers working today. And this film kind of explores a little bit of the origin of Bob Dylan all the way through the Newport Music Festival in 1965 when he decides to go electric. And while the film does follow the very well-known formula of the musical biopic, this is still a very well-made and really good film. And it's mostly due to the powerhouse performance from Timothee Chalamet. He is unbelievable in the movie. He's definitely going to get nominated for an Academy Award. Some people think now he's even the front runner to win. I think it's a bit too early to call that. I mean, it's going to be hard competition, but he is unbelievable. He's great in the movie. But he's not the only one. Boyd Holbrook actually plays Johnny Cash, which I actually thought he did a really excellent job, especially for a character who's not nearly supposed to be a lead, is kind of just a fun supporting role, and he still embodied that character greatly. I also thought that Edward Norton as Pete Seeger was a really great performance, and that character is kind of the almost moral epicenter of Bob Dylan's life for a while, and kind of is the only person in the world whose approval he actually cares about in the movie, and so kind of seeing that journey was really interesting. Monica Barbaro plays Joan Baez, who is another famous singer, and Elle Fanning plays Sylvie Russo, who's in an on-again, off-again relationship with Bob Dylan. And I think, to me, the most interesting part of the movie is the relationship and almost sort of love triangle he has between the two of them. And the real-world events that kind of happen that lead to the inner workings of him finding himself in each person's life and how their relationships kind of come together and kind of tiptoeing through each other's history, I thought was really interesting. If you're a fan of Bob Dylan's music, you're going to absolutely love the movie. And while every song I've heard from Bob Dylan I really like, I just am not a diehard fan. Like, I haven't kind of really explored the history of his music and looked at everything and followed the journey and have done the whole thing. I mean, I think he's a brilliant poet. I mean, hell, he won a Nobel Prize for Literature, so, you know, he's amazing at what he does. And the movie does a great job showing how good he is with music, showing kind of his legacy, but it also shows, what I thought was interesting in the movie, shows his respect for the past. Like, Scoop McNairy plays Woody Guthrie in the movie, and I thought that the relationship between Bob Dylan and Woody Guthrie was incredibly interesting. And in the movie, Bob Dylan basically was heavily inspired and was a big fan of Woody Guthrie and kind of used that to become his own musician and do his own thing. But, that relationship is still kind of there, especially with how Woody Guthrie's character is in the film, which I won't spoil in case you don't know. It creates a very interesting dynamic there. Going to what I was saying earlier, as someone who's not like a huge diehard fan of his music, I still thought the movie was really good. Obviously, there are going to be people who care more about what songs they play than others. That didn't really bother me because I was just kind of there for a good story. The only negatives I really have with the film are, as I mentioned at the top, while you kind of know what the tropes are for a musical biopic, sometimes they do get aggravating, and it does happen in this film. I also think that the runtime doesn't really fit the pace. I think that there are some redundant beats in the movie that could have been trimmed down, although I understand kind of keeping things in because biopics are tough because you're telling a real life story and you want to include as much as you can. I just feel like the movie could have been paced a little bit better, especially in the second act of the movie. And again, to emphasize for me, I think what really made the movie interesting and the best parts of it for me was the relationship between the characters and their dynamics and how their relationships grew, how some fell apart, and how Bob's very distinctive personality could affect different things in his life, especially as he got more famous and as he started to be recognized more for his work, how he kind of didn't really love all the recognition. He kind of wanted to do his own thing, be his own person, while also being the first person to tell you if he didn't like something, and got pretty insufferable and aggravating at times, even as, someone watching, you're just like, Jesus, dude, come on, with some of the stuff he does. But, he was unapologetically himself, and I think that's what kind of the movie really wanted to show, especially when it came to his music. He was very unapologetically did what he wanted to do with his music, and it does tell a pretty intriguing story. Again, it primarily serves as a vehicle for Timothee Chalamet, whoever that lead performance was going to be, and Timothee Chalamet does an excellent job in the movie, and he's so good that even if you're someone who find yourselves not really loving the movie, you're going to be drawn in by his performance the entire time. But enough about what I think. What did you guys think about it? Once you have a chance to see this movie, I'd love to see your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and we'll see you on the next review.